Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
I was doing that last night, too.
The fans were doing it like almost the whole chamber.
Yeah.
The other one was if you came in the middle of the thing, then you missed the audience was singing Edge's theme song.
Yeah.
They were singing the chorus like the same way they would for Judas. Like it was very clear that they were singing. It was kind of cool.
Montreal, Canada loves him. He's not from Canada, is he?
Who?
Is he
Edge?
Canada? Yeah.
Yeah,
He is
he's
Canadian?
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Toronto.
I don't know why I thought he wasn't.
Yeah, that's why he had a really big pop and people were singing his song and stuff.
Yeah, because like I always think of Christian being Canadian, but then I'm like, wait, is Edge too? Like I was sitting there watching the match, going, is he Canadian
Yeah,
too?
he is.
Ah, P.S. So Elimination Chamber happened,
It did.
and
Welcome to the podcast.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, start the thingy. The thingy goes, and then blah blah blah, and yeah, and then we come back all surprised, or no, we don't really come back surprised. We just kind of
Who's surprised?
Yeah.
Sunrise, sunset.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast all about wrestling. In this corner, an author and a black belt, Kibbles.
Kibbles? What kind of name is that?
Pookie the Wolf is the best.
I forgot my copies. And in this corner, Pookie the Wolf.
Pookie the Wolf is one of the best.
Welcome to the Kibbles and Pookies Squared Circle.
Yeah, so I think the bulk of today is going to be the chamber, if not the entirety. So I guess we'll go match by match.
Do you think the bulk of it?
Yeah,
It's 5 matches.
there's a lot to talk about.
Okay. Is there? Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know.
No, maybe you have some stuff.
I don't know.
There is some
I have
stuff.
a lot of things to talk about.
There are some stuff that I want to talk about, and they're not WWE, it's AEW, because someone big came back on Rampage. I don't know if you watched it.
I did not.
Ooh. You want me to do a clever little joke for it?
Sure. See if I can guess.
I was gonna give you I'm gonna give you it right away. He's a man without limits.
Oh, Keith Lee. I did see
Yes.
Keith Lee came back. You're right. I didn't watch Rampage. You asked if I watched Rampage. I said no. I didn't watch Rampage, but I saw Keith Lee came back.
Yeah.
And he did not die. He looks old as fuck.
Yeah. Thank you. 'cause
With
I
that
was saying,
gray hair.
his new look doesn't. You know what the problem is? He also shaved.
Yeah.
I don't like him shaved. I would like the bear cat as his beard, because when he came into AEW, he had the beard, and I was like, that
Yeah.
guy looks badass. But him shaved with a shaved face, it just, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember seeing the like white hair or whatever, and I was like, is that his natural hair color, or did he like dye it, or like
Yeah.
is that his natural hair and he's been dyeing it? I don't know. He looked old though.
I wish he would just do the all gray, like even with the beard, that would look still cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched Rampage just to see that, because they already. I watched What Culture Wrestling, and they already like spoiled it that Keith Lee was coming back on Friday night. Then they said they had to wait. You had to wait until Friday night came, and I was like, well, I'm gonna watch it, and I
Who
did.
am I?
And I was a little disappointed because I was like, doesn't look good. A lot of the fight was botched during the return.
Keith.
That's not his fault. That's that Parker guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Of Parker?
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Not a fan.
neither I.
I feel like every time so when he first came in and he attacked Keith Lee, I remember specifically texting the group, and I was like, who is this guy who looks like he's pretending to be a pro wrestler? Like, it doesn't look like none of his stuff looked
Wait,
like
the
it
other
had.
guy?
No, Parker.
Parker came in and wait, did he come in and attack? I thought he came.
Yeah,
Well,
when he came
okay,
in and
no,
attacked
'cause you know what?
Keith Lee.
I knew that he was in the Trustbusters before that.
Oh, I'm just talking about
You
when
meant
I
when
saw
he came
him
in to attack. Yeah,
to
yeah,
attack Keith Lee.
Even with that, when I watched him in Dark, he was still bad.
Yeah, it legitimately looked like there was no conviction behind any of the like knees or anything he was doing, and to me it looked like a guy who was trying to play pro wrestler.
He used to be in NXT.
Yes. I mean, I'm
No, I just
I'm
the,
slightly aware of
the
this. but-
severity of how bad that seems because it's like
Yeah.
you've been to multiple places and you should at least know how to wrestle.
Yeah, I don't think he was a good pickup by
Maybe
AEW,
when-
but whatever.
Maybe he came back to the back curtain and he's like, "I'm sorry, Keith. I didn't mean to hurt you.
I mean, maybe he did.
I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry." He's like the epitome of like that meme of like, "I want Brock Lesnar," and then Mom says we got Brock Lesnar at home, and it's just Parker.
Yeah,
He's like the Wish version of Brock Lesnar.
yeah. I got you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, Elimination Chamber started with the women's Elimination Chamber,
Mm-hmm.
which was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. I felt like there was definitely a point in time where I felt like or where I felt like there were multiple potential winners, and then as we kind of got down to like the final two, it was like, okay, Asuka's gonna win. I felt like Asuka had the best odds, and I felt like Raquel, what's her name, Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like she had a decent shot at winning. I didn't think Liv did.
Oh fuck.
I didn't think Natalia did. And she was totally in the match because she's Canadian.
Can I ask you this?
Yep.
Since I did not see it, were there any spots that were noticeably worth going back and seeing?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a spot where Nikki Cross jumps off the top of one of the pods
Because she's crazy.
because she's crazy.
Crazy.
There's a really good spot with Raquel where she like picks up Nikki Cross and just like runs her into one of the like picks her up like this and then just
Yeah.
runs her in, and they break the thing, like breaks off, and that was a cool spot. There was another really cool spot where Liv Morgan was on top of the pod and did a sunset flip to Raquel, who was like on the ropes, so she like jumped over her and then sunset flip powerbombed her. That was really cool. There were a couple of other like not quite as big as those like cool spots,
But they're good spots still.
yeah. No, overall I thought it was a good match
Because
it was-
people
it
who,
might have been the best women's one that I've seen.
Mhm. People who like WWE, I'm not going to sound like I'm going to shit on this, but the Elimination Chamber for me was very predictable. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just for the outcomes for everything was just predictable. It's very, there's no surprises for me with WWE. That I feel like I go in thinking like maybe they'll do something cool and unexpected, and then they never really. It's like Action Andretti thing where I'm like, no one saw that coming. No
Yeah.
one knew that was going to happen. They were like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a squash match. To the point where Chris Jericho even said, we even put Chris Jericho's name up when Action was up on, and we're like, we didn't care because we wanted it to seem like it was just going to be a squash match. It didn't
Yeah.
matter.
I think surprises and swerves work when they are either built to correctly, or there is a logical plan for it to happen afterwards. I think a lot of times in pro wrestling they try to just swerve and like trick you, and then what ends up happening is you get like a really big oh my god for like one day, and then the rest of it you go like, wait, this doesn't make sense. What they're saying now doesn't make sense, or it doesn't link, or doesn't,
Yeah, because I mean, even with the Elimination Chamber, you said they said that the last time.
Yeah, the last time that they had a pay-per-view in Montreal was the screw job, which total missed opportunity. But I'll get to that when we get to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were still talking about the Chamber, so that's why I figured to bring it up because.
Yeah, they mentioned it several times throughout the show.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. I turned on the pre-show. There was like 5 minutes left in the pre-show when I turned the pay-per-view on. They mentioned it then, and they mentioned it at least 2 more times throughout the show.
Do you think?
Now, at no point, now they were mentioning it, at no point did I think there was going to be a screw job. Like, at no point. And I don't think they and I don't, and I agree that they shouldn't have done it. Or I agree that they didn't do one.
So the big one we should wait for is the main event, right?
Yeah.
because I had a bunch of opinions on that, but maybe we should go over
Okay. Let's go. Let's
what was next? Brock Lesnar and
Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley.
Um,
Again, I didn't get there
the
yet.
fuck
So
was that finish?
the finish was where Bobby Lashley got low blowed, and then and Brock Lesnar disqualified because
Lesnar had him, or Lashley had him in the hurt lock, and Lesnar just low blowed him
He
in
said,
front of the
"Fuck it.
referee,
fuck it, I don't care.
and then got mad that the referee disqualified him and attacked the referee.
Yeah.
Which fucking makes no sense. Like, you know the rules. Why would you be mad the referee disqualified you?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like interested in this going into it, because I was like, oh, this is going to be like a cool match where they just beat the shit out of each other.
Well, do you think they're trying
they
to
kind
lead
of-
into like a special stipulation?
Maybe. But I mean, if they do that, then I want to see them use the stipulation, or I want to see them do more than whatever the fuck this match was. Like, this match was like, you're Brock Lesnar, he threw somebody like once or twice, and then it like very quickly became like, spear, go for the pin now, maybe try another spear, nah, F5, go for the pin. Like, it turned into a Brock Lesnar match where if he's not so Brock, like, if you look at it, right, Brock's got two matches.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but I like it.
No, well, ready, watch. Once I explain it, you're gonna be like, holy shit, he's right. Brock has two types of matches. One where he's usually fighting somebody smaller or somebody he can toss around a lot, in which case he will do a lot of suplexes before going to like the F5 finishes and stuff like that. The other type of match he has is a match where he can't as easily throw the other guy around. So it very quickly devolves into a finisher fest where all they do the whole match is just their finisher like 3 to 5 times before somebody finally wins.
When you play like a SmackDown game and just put all your finishers
Yes.
to the
That is, and if you and I mean seriously, like, think about, this isn't every case because he's also had like no holds barred matches where he gets to use weapons, in which case that kind of goes out the door because they use weapons. But like, think about any non-weaponed Brock Lesnar match. It's one of those two things. Somebody small enough he can throw them around, so he throws them around with suplexes, and then eventually you get to the finisher fest, or they just very quickly within the first 2 minutes go into a finisher fest, and the match is like 6 minutes. That's what the Bobby Lashley match was. If you go back and look at it, within 2 minutes, it was like spear, goes for the pin, no, and then it was like F5, goes for the pin, no, does another spear, doesn't win, tries for the F5, but gets out of it, goes into the hurt lock, and then there was your finish.
I just imagine like a training class done by Brock Lesnar goes, with my easy 2 steps, you could have a Brock Lesnar match just like me.
Yeah,
And then like, you go by the program, and it's just like, do a bunch of finishers, and then have close calls over and over again.
I'm telling you, that's the Brock Lesnar formula.
Like, or step 2, actually try.
Yep. That's the Brock Lesnar formula. So here was the main reason I wanted to talk about this is what happens next with these guys and the storyline, because obviously, like, Lashley wants revenge, right?
I think the concept would be that Brock Lesnar, I mean, this is going up probably on the Monday that we'll find out. But I think that what will happen is Bobby Lashley will want to actually beat him on his own without having a disqualification.
True.
And for that, he'll ask for I want to say no holds barred.
Although they are
But
tied.
That'll be as disappointing
Or no.
as him versus, what was the one?
Because
that
he low blowed him, Lashley's up 2-1 in
Well,
their series,
didn't
because
he
that was
do
a rubber match.
Didn't he do a no holds barred versus Triple H at WrestleMania? That was the one we went
Yes.
to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
It was the one
they'll
where
do that.
he did the scream thing that then they put into the Taylor Swift song, because
Yeah.
that was really hot at the time.
Yeah, memes are great. No, but like the concept that they're going to do, I feel like that's what they want to push it to. Because why
Like
do
a no holds barred at WrestleMania.
Why do a steel cage match? Why do what else kind of match would they even do?
Yeah, it
Like,
would have to be no holds barred or a steel cage. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Something that will let them do whatever they want, but not be ridiculously in the way.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. If this was the finish that they were, and you might not be aware of this, if this was the finish that they had planned for this match, and they're going to go do another Bobby Lashley Lesnar match at WrestleMania, why did Bray Wyatt come out on SmackDown and challenge the winner of the match?
He did?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that at all.
Yep. So Hit Row was in the ring, like rapping about how bad Montreal is. Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt got in the ring and beat the two of them up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wyatt got on the mic and, like, in a very, very quick promo, just said, now that he is back in alignment with himself or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. His chakras.
The winner of Lashley and Lesnar should watch out because he wants them next. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have a definitive winner in the Lashley Lesnar match because it kind of sounded like the winner's gonna fight Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But now I'm like, there's no definitive winner. They should naturally have a match against each other as a follow up. So, like, what?
Yeah, I mean, now I'm thinking, like, do they do the three of them?
Yeah, that's where I'm confused.
That's so. That's
Or what? Or my other thought was, like, are they trying to like make this go longer and have them tag team against there was no winner and they want to fight each other, and Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy jump both of them, and so then at WrestleMania they do Lashley and Lesnar against Uncle Howdy
I
and
don't like
Bray
that.
Wyatt.
I don't like that at all.
That's the only reason I could think that they had the match end in a non-finish.
I like Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but
No holds barred.
I guess that's what they
Well,
have to
it's
do,
triple
right?
threat,
Like
never mind.
it doesn't make sense. That's what they would have to do. I don't understand.
I feel like
you know what I
almost-
mean?
Almost like you're like fucking with me. I'm like, I know this happened, but I feel like
I
he's fucking
swear to
with me.
God it happened.
No, I'm sure it did.
That's
but
why
I'm
it
like,
makes-
I
and
feel
I-
like he's fucking with me.
and
right
I'll be
now.
honest, when he came out and when he cut that promo on SmackDown, I was in my head, I was like, Lashley's winning because I don't think they put Lesnar with
Bray
Wyatt. And Lashley did technically win, but
Does Lesnar
shenanigans.
just? But see, this is the weird part, and this is the
well,
problem.
then
I
also,
have.
who the fuck does Lesnar fight?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if Lesnar just fucks off and just disappears for a little bit,
No,
like,
fuck that. He's WrestleMania. He's got to wrestle. I'll be honest, man. I would want to see
go ahead.
Lashley should go fight Wyatt, whatever.
Okay,
Because what I desperately want at WrestleMania
go ahead.
is fucking Brock Lesnar against Gunther.
Maybe.
Those guys would beat the fuck out of each other. Although I could also see Lesnar being like, I'm not working with this guy because he's going to chop the shit out of me, and I ain't dealing with that shit.
I don't know. I feel like Lesnar would be down for it.
I guess. I don't know.
It's see that
That's
seems,
the match I want.
But that's the thing. Okay, so that's smart. That would be a smart, like, booking as far as booking is smart. But how do you get there?
I don't
That's
know.
the part where I'm confused. I'm like, yeah, that seems like a good idea for WrestleMania, but how do you get there? Because it's like he's on Raw, Gunther's on SmackDown, and just go.
It doesn't fucking matter. Everybody
Unless he
goes on
goes-
every fucking show anyway.
Yeah, but does he challenge him for the?
For the IC title.
Yeah.
The Imperium could also jump Lesnar.
Does he go like, oh well, since he's I guess since we're jumping ship and Lesnar's gonna Lashley's gonna fight Wyatt, I'm gonna fight someone from SmackDown, and then fucking Gunther comes out.
if you think about it, like Lashley and Lesnar are both Raw guys, and
Yeah.
Wyatt's a SmackDown guy and called him out. So the brands don't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. It's so weird though. Like, why not just like? It's such a call the shot. Like, cause like now you're making this so frustrating to think about because you told me that. But like reality, they could have just been like, Lesnar won or Lashley won. Lashley comes out on Monday night. Lights go out. Just do that. Why are you
Yeah.
having him go? I'm gonna fight whoever. Oh,
There's a
brother, I'm
million-
gonna fight whoever comes out on top.
There's a million different ways that you could, not a million, but there's a bunch of, like, if that's the route you want to go, there's a bunch of different ways that you could get to Gunther and Lesnar, right? You could have Imperium just attack him out of nowhere. You could, because I'm sure in the Royal Rumble, Lesnar like suplexed Gunther or something. I'm sure that happened at some point. Like, and Gunther just attacks him, right? You could have Lesnar come out and be like, I lost and I want to like go for a championship that I never won or something. Like, I don't know. Not saying they're all great ideas, but there's a bunch of different ways you could get to that match.
Yeah. I mean, you could do it any certain way you want.
Any
By
way
the
you
way,
want.
I'm aware that my Wyatt is bad.
Okay, good.
My Wyatt is terrible.
Good.
I tried so hard. I tried to take it off of
And got so
LA
far?
Knight.
Yeah?
Because the way LA Knight did it, it was just way better.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Next
terrible ending.
Terrible ending. Next up was the mixed tag match.
Yes, that's where I started.
The fans were super into Edge because he's a Canadian boy.
I like to watch Mommy.
Me too. Edge did. The fans were. I wanted to call this on the podcast. The fans were singing Edge's theme song, the same way that they would for Judas, which was really cool.
It's Judas by Fozzy.
There was definitely an awkward moment. They were. I don't know if you saw it, but they're singing it, and then there's like in the WWE mix of his song, right? There's a part where it does the. I think it's like the second time. I forget if it's the second or the third time it does the chorus, like after it goes back through.
Mm-hmm.
It actually only does part of the chorus and then like restarts. So they were definitely singing and then it restarted, and you can hear like a moment where like they're and then they just kind of stop singing. It's pretty funny. It's pretty entertaining.
The awkward moment I saw was when I believe Finn Balor had a pin on Edge. And that's why I texted in the group text because you
I know what you're talking about.
The rest of the guys were like, no spoilers. I'm like, no, it's just a ref mistake. Or not even a ref mistake. It really not a ref mistake. It was the ref had to do something because Beth Phoenix wasn't there yet to break up the pin. And he had to like literally go and just like stop real quick. And it's just like,
and Edge noticed,
terrible.
Edge noticed it too because as he's coming down, he must have said something, and Edge like threw his arm up at the same time that Beth jumped into the ring. I think the ref was like, "Dude, you got to kick out," and he kicked out real quick.
It was really Beth's mistake, but for me, it was seeing the ref do that. By the way, they do it a lot, where like they do this thing where they go 1, 2, and then like almost try to like break their arm and like almost like trying to. The best way to explain it, since it's a podcast, best way to explain it is just like trying to ram their shoulder into the ground, or like, and just trying to like drop their shoulder into the floor.
They all do it.
It's
even in
ridiculous.
AEW.
Yeah. I mean, that one, it almost feel like time stopped for those though. Like there was 2 times
I
in
think
the Sammy and Reigns, and then there was one in this mixed match where I'm like, oh, that was like painfully long.
So I'll give you my theory as to why they do that. My theory is because they know it's not a 3 count, and it's easier for them to come through and do that because it gives momentum, and it probably at some point somebody figured out it probably pops the audience better. And then you don't have the person kicked out, but your hand hits the thing, and then there's like confusion in the audience as to like whether he kicked out beforehand.
And I
or
could
not.
see WWE having that issue where a lot of the stuff was botched, like the where's that referee? He tried to fuck on me.
Yeah, he tried to fuck on me.
Or like the Goldust versus Stardust match where they also botched that, and that's why they had the Blood and Guts match in AEW, because of that match they had in WWE was fucked too.
He goes like this.
Where's that referee?
He was trying to
fuck on me. It's one of the only things I love from Cody Rhodes.
And I love
it's not even Cody Rhodes. It's Ted DiBiase.
I love how he explains that like it was such an improper. Like he explains it, and he's like, it was such an improper use of the word "fuck" that like Vince just sat back down. It wasn't even
like a complete sentence where he just goes, Vince just got up, sat back down, and just okay,
just let it go. I love that part of the story.
Yeah,
Like Vince just sat down and put his headset back on.
He's just like, okay. He seems angry. I'm just gonna move on.
We're done with this.
He tried to fuck on him. I don't know what else to do.
He tried to fuck right on him.
That referee tried to fuck on Ted. This match
was good.
Yeah, it was. I liked it.
I was torn. I really wasn't sure. So here's the thing. I was like, this match could go either way because I could see, because they showed the video package beforehand, and in the video package, Finn Balor like has that promo where he talks about like, hey, I'm seeing a repeated pattern. Edge comes back, and then the Judgment Day kick his ass and send him back, and he goes away for a bunch of weeks, and they show it happen like 4 times, and I was like, okay, so like, this is kind of good. This is the blow off, so like I could see Edge winning. They're also in Canada, so I could see Edge winning. But then there was also part of me that was like, but Rhea Ripley won the Royal Rumble, so like I could see them winning because, and her getting the pin because you want to keep her strong.
Yeah, but like even there were times where she did stuff and she like super sold stuff to the point where she looked like a silly goon. Like she like hit herself. She's like, my face, it hurts. And
She's
I'm like,
kind
why
of
is she
always
doing-
done that.
Does
I feel
she?
like. I feel like
when I watch her on Raw, she doesn't really do like.
maybe not. Maybe
She
it's just
almost
me.
seems like a Three Stooges kind of effect, where like
yeah.
when they won the match and she was hitting out and like Tom was holding her and she's like kind of like the wind knocked out of her and she's like kind of like trying to feel her jaw again, and I'm like, I feel like she's overdoing
who does
it.
that in every match?
Who's that?
Roman Reigns.
Does he? He does.
He always does this.
Oh, my face hurts,
Dude, he always does. I swear, gotta go back and watch it.
No,
Any
I saw
Roman
him
Reigns
do. I
match, he
saw him
always
do it
fucking does
last night.
He sells the shit out of that jaw.
But like, it's really not. It's really
He's
not.
a champion jaw seller.
It's
He belongs in the slap league.
listen. It's the expressiveness in her eyes.
Yeah.
She doesn't use her eyes that much on Raw. Where like something happens, she doesn't go like, like it's more of like she's just always like serious on Raw. But like this match, she almost seemed like her eyes were like trying to really sell stuff more. Where she was just like,
Yeah. I mean, it
oh,
might have
that
been.
hurt so much. Like when she landed with the suplex, right? The superplex off the top, and she was just like, my back.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been.
It's
I
not
don't
a
know.
problem. I
It's-
just thought I
it's-
just saw that and noticed. I was
Yeah.
like, that's
I
interesting.
mean, if she doesn't sell with her eyes a lot, then I'm wondering if like it's something she's been working on, or somebody like told her and
Yeah.
she like overcorrected.
it's
tonight,
very playing
last
into
night.
the her being the heel part, where she's like, it's almost very like MJF-esque, where it's just like,
Yeah.
I didn't know this wrestling thing hurt so much, like that kind of
Yeah, I
like,
got you.
yeah. But anyway, it's a good match.
Yeah. No,
Double powerbomb, that one was a good one.
That was cool. So I was between. I wasn't sure who was gonna win, which was nice because it's always nice when you're not sure.
It's nice
But
to feel confused.
what I was sure was who was going to take the pinfall. If Edge's team was gonna win, Edge was pinning Finn Balor.
Well, yeah.
If Rhea's team was, or if the Judgment Day was gonna win, Rhea was gonna pin.
Well,
Beth.
I think they'll think that the heat aspect of it is that Rhea can't be pinned. Don't pin Rhea
exactly,
because
yeah.
she's going into WrestleMania.
Exactly. Well, that's like they specify with Roman Reigns. Like he has gone X number of days, and they specifically say without being pinned or submitting because he's
Yeah.
lost tag matches.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, that's
like
good.
it's
That's
fine.
good. He didn't lose. Sammy lost.
It's perfectly fine. Like logically, that booking makes sense. This brings us to the men's chamber,
Ooh.
which I'll be honest. Going into this, I looked at the playing field and I said, I believe that
He's got his
anybody
finger up.
I believe that anybody can win this match, except for Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I went in
because he's been saying all this stuff about Logan Paul, and I was like, clearly he's doing a WrestleMania match with Logan Paul, which I don't think they're going to do for the title.
Mhm.
So I don't think that Seth's winning. But I could have legitimately seen any of the other guys winning this match.
I mean, I completely could have saw them doing Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins for the U.S. title.
Really?
I mean, it wouldn't make that much sense as far as where Austin Theory goes, but I could see them doing that just to be like, oh, Logan Paul might win a title.
Well, yeah. Well, that became the thing, right? If you do that, then Seth has to win unless Logan Paul is going to be around more often, which I don't think he is.
He's not really too primed to be in the company.
But don't.
You get that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
I just felt like you would. You don't seem like someone who follows Logan Paul regularly.
I don't, but I'm aware of certain things.
I don't either. This is the thing with Prime. I don't mind it. I don't hate it because half of the company owners or half of the creators of it I like, and then I don't like Logan Paul. I like KSI. I don't like Logan Paul. But unfortunately, they have this company together.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what my dream outcome was?
Damian Priest.
No, Montez Ford. I wanted him to win.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to win that.
Okay, I don't get Montez Ford.
What part?
I don't get who he is supposed to be. So like
You talked to me about this last night. You texted me about this.
like he is a guy who's super over the top hype, super athletic, but also is constantly doing other people's things.
Go
Like
on.
he in every match he's fucking doing the the crotch chop fucking constantly to the point that it annoys me. Like he does way too much in my
I
opinion.
mean, you texted me about it, yeah.
Also, he gets into the Elimination Chamber, knocks a guy down, and the first thing he tries to do is the people's elbow? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't
Makes
know.
no sense.
He's like a Eugene, where he
Yeah.
just does other people.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what is this? What is happening? Like he started trying to do the people's elbow, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Like,
Yeah.
is he just trying to pop the audience? Like,
You know what? I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it too much when you said the crotch chop, and then I realized I'm like, oh, he tried to do the people's elbow as well. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
like he's just like
Yeah,
a
now that
super
I know
athletic guy who's trying to steal everybody else's gimmick
Now
because
that-
he's not interesting. Like, is that what his gimmick is?
now
I don't
that annoys
understand.
me as well. Now I'm annoyed. What do I do about this?
I will say that upside down flip thing was fucking crazy,
Upset. Oh yeah.
dude. That was crazy.
It was okay. So yeah, it's.
I mean, it could have been crazier, and I am actually I respect the fact that he did it safely.
The problem
Still
is
crazy as
the
fuck.
problem is it was the main attention for everything. So like when he went to go do he went to go throw him,
Yeah.
Damian Priest, he grabbed the cage and then started climbing up. They just focused on Montez Ford the whole time. They should have just watched everybody else and then had him climb and then brought attention back when he was ready to jump.
Yeah,
Because it was like it almost seemed like everyone was just waiting around like, oh yeah, hey, punch
poor
him, punch
poor
him.
camera work.
Punch him. Okay, he's ready? All right, let's go ahead.
Yeah,
And
it
it
was
was
a poor
like-
camera work.
I'm like, it just seemed so like, it probably didn't happen that way, but it looked like everyone else was just waiting for him to get into position. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what are we doing?
he got up there and we were still waiting, and I was like, what? Oh, he's like turning around upside down. I thought he was just gonna like fall down on him, but
Climbing on the cage like a
he
little
turned
monkey.
upside down, which was cool.
Because monkeys climb.
Monkeys climb.
Monkeys climb. I don't want any kind of racist intonation from that. Okay?
All right,
It's not.
you might just want to cut this whole part out.
Nah, I'm still going to keep it in. I said yes. I said last week that about Natalia's breasts, and I feel like that was out of line, but I'm like, it's just something in my opinion. I don't think it gives any kind of rude thing to her besides like, they're just so big.
Yeah. You know
Anyway,
what? You know.
I love Montez Ford. Is my point.
Yeah, you know the one part of this match that I actually really enjoyed and legitimately laughed at was when somehow Seth, when somehow Seth and Johnny Gargano ended up on top of the pod
That
together,
was a good part.
and they were just sitting there, and he's like, yeah.
I
yeah.
thought about it,
and
I
then
was
out
like,
of nowhere, Rollins was like, chop, and I was like, this is great.
I like that concept of like when I thought about both of them, and I'm like, yeah, both of their wives are in the company as well, and they're probably like they both have children,
Mhm.
and I'm like, there's just a concept of like, how's your kid doing? Oh, I'm good. How's your
Yeah.
your thing? Yeah.
You know,
And then
what's
just decided smack.
You know what's funny is I was laughing, and I didn't think about it till just now when I'm talking to you. That's like something we totally would have done. Like we totally would have
Yeah.
had a moment where two of us are like, "Oh yeah, we're cool, chilling." Oh, pow.
You know, that's such a Brandon thing.
yes, that's what
It's
it is.
such a Brandon thing to be like, hey, and then just
Yeah.
start attacking them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and then that was followed up by one of the craziest fucking spots I've ever seen.
yeah. So like,
Actually, let me rephrase that. One of the craziest spots I've ever seen in a WWE match.
well,
That's
in a
pretty-
chamber match too.
That's pretty far fucking up there. That was
Like-
fucking crazy.
Like even like the theory Brock Lesnar thing, that like it's like okay, you're just kind of like toss because like when Theory lands, he lands on his feet and then just like falls over. Like
Yeah.
it's like the F5 is not something they can just do. And
I will also say
Make
when
it
I
seem like
when
really
I initially
impactful.
texted you, I said that was one of the craziest spots I'd ever seen, and that was before they had started doing the replays. The initial, I don't know if you caught it, but the initial camera spot that they had for it, you couldn't see Damian Priest was there to catch Johnny Gargano. So
Mhm.
I thought Gargano just fucking
Yeah.
like fell. And then I saw
He
Damian
just
Priest was
fucking
there,
died.
and I was like, okay. But like in my head, I was like, all he's got to do is over rotate by like half a foot, and he like cracks his head on that chamber on the way down, and
well, that was the thing.
like holy shit,
There was a thing where I noticed with like when Montez Ford was doing dives onto the outside
yeah.
or the outside part of it, where I'm like, if he gets his foot hooked in there in one of those chains, he could like just immediately like tear an ankle or something.
Yeah. Well, so when he was injured, or when he was quote unquote injured, and they were like calling for the chamber, calling for somebody to come in. I they showed the stomp back, and I was like, it doesn't look bad. And then what happened with my head was I said, well, there's a bunch of times he was doing those flips, and he kept landing on his neck after he flipped out of the ring, and I was like, I wonder if like he was laying there after being pinned, and the adrenaline started wearing off, and he's like, oh fuck.
Well, for me, I think that was around the time that they like because I was doing something else. That was the time where I started muting it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just watching for cues because I was like, in my head, I didn't realize the Logan Paul stuff. So when they were like, I'm like, in my head, I was thinking Austin Theory or Seth Rollins is gonna get out of the cage somehow because Montez Ford is hurt,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote hurt.
Well, so you started muting it. Let me give you like at first,
Because I saw the stomp.
right?
But then the concept of that, they said, oh, Montez Ford is injured. Someone came in to help him. And then immediately I'm like, okay, if it was the stomp and if his neck was hurt, they immediately didn't go, don't move. They literally tried to move him. And I'm like,
Right,
you're not
right.
supposed to move someone. And that instantly I was like, okay, they're doing this on there's
Yeah.
a reason.
So
I didn't know it'd be Logan Paul. I'd be
Well-
like, oh, something's going to happen with the door being open.
right. So well, here's the part where it differed for you and me. You weren't hearing the audio, so you saw that they started moving him, and you were like, oh, okay. Like they wouldn't do it if he was legitimately hurt.
Mhm.
Which I should have taken into account and
But you probably heard
and figured
something
out.
where you're like,
Well,
oh.
what happened was they went to go show the replay, and Corey Graves Corey Graves yelled. Corey Graves was like, "Can we stop showing the footage? This man is hurt." Like I was like, they don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? They're usually like, let's go back and show you like how he
Yeah.
got injured, and I'm sorry, he sounded angry like to me.
Well,
Especially
especially
that's what made me be like, oh holy shit, I think this is legit.
Especially since he's color commentary too. He's normally cheering for the bad guys.
Yeah.
So it's just like when he's like has compassion, you're like, wait a minute, why is he doing this?
Yeah, and his words, he literally was like, "Stop showing the replay. He's hurt. We don't need to see it again."
Yeah.
Like blah blah blah.
Which is weird because they do stomps all the time.
Yeah,
But yeah, I get what you mean.
but that's what made me think like, oh shit, maybe he's really hurt because like he would like for it to be Corey Graves saying that, I was like, maybe something legitimately is up.
Because I knew that Seth and Austin have been having this thing back and forth. So I was like, okay, what? Because I didn't think of like an extra variable added in like Logan Paul. Because I was like, oh, okay,
Well,
someone's
then as
gonna
soon
do
as-
something like
yeah,
go
as-
get a chair or something like that.
As soon as Logan Paul jumped in, I was like, okay, well that tells me that Ford's okay. It was fake.
They needed a reason to open the door, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I was like, I don't know why Austin or Seth would go outside the ring,
Yeah,
and I didn't think in my head like, oh, someone could come in.
yeah.
So
there's one of your WrestleMania matches: Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
Here's the real question: does it happen on night 1 or night 2?
For all joke purposes, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
If it happens, it happens. I don't care which night.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Okay.
do you get that on Peacock?
What?
WrestleMania. They don't
Yes.
they don't make you pay extra, right? Oh, I can
No.
watch WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
Thank God they exclusively put.
You could have watched it last year as well.
Oh no, I didn't have Peacock till this year
Okay.
because they put another person in my house. They put their soap opera on strictly on Peacock. So now I have to have it. I have to have Peacock so no one misses any episodes of that show.
You talk about yourself, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
watched Days of Our Lives. I really don't know what they're doing with the angle with the devil, because they use him a lot. The two women, I forget what their names are, in heaven, and
You're
It's
not doing a
just-
good job here.
it's just it's
You
not.
could be a lot more convincing.
What do you mean? No, these are legit storylines.
The devil, and
The
then you
devil
go,
is in the series, and I'm going.
and then you go. These two women. I don't remember their names.
I don't remember their
You
names.
should have just made up names. It
I
would have
don't
like
remember their names.
seemed like you knew what you were talking
because
about.
I'm like walking past it every other time and going, "What the fuck are they doing with this show?" And then I can't argue with them because I'm like, "Listen, I watch wrestling. I can't. I have no room to talk."
All right, so
So Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Anything else on the men's chamber?
No, I really in my head could have saw Montez Ford winning it all, but I was like, probably not. And like this is the thing, and I said earlier with WWE, it was very predictable for me, and it wasn't like a bad like. Thank God that I'm watching wrestling again and still in contact with Kibbles, because without him, I don't think I would see the silver lining of, well, they're still good matches. They're just very like the outcomes predictable.
I will continue to say that just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's entertaining.
Exactly. Wait, what? Just because it's predictable doesn't mean it isn't entertaining? Wait,
Correct.
what do you mean? Okay.
So
So I thought you
it's-
meant like just because
So
it's
it's predictable, but it is still
It's still
entertaining,
entertaining,
and I
correct.
still enjoy watching it.
Yes. I
Uh,
think I'm so used to AEW kind of doing stuff that is
I mean, one of my biggest examples I'll continue to say is that people will be like, "Oh, wrestling's so predictable, you know who's going to win." Motherfucker, did you ever go to a Captain America movie and go like, "Captain America's going to lose in this movie"?
yeah.
Like, come
I mean,
on.
it's pretty obvious. But even like just sways here and there, I think I don't know. I could be biased, and that's fine. I don't want to like if you would have said a year ago, would have shit all over WWE. I give them more credit because they are trying to make it more. They need to make it less of a universe and more of it's wrestling. Not this like weird like we only live in this
But it's
this
the
realm of-
WWE universe.
I know, but I think that's where that is where they exclude themselves from every other source of wrestling. Like
Yeah.
the New Japan and whatever else teams they want, like Impact, whatever else it seems like such a club that you're ruining the chance to collaborate with other places, and you could get so much more people to watch because of that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it almost became a universe. I mean, before COVID and then NXT UK kind of like failing a little bit. And I think part of that was because of COVID, but I mean, they were looking at opening up like an NXT like Japan, like they were going to make NXT like a territory system.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
and then
turned it
guys
around, though.
and then guys and gals could come in and like wrestle in NXT UK for like a year and then go to America for a year and then go to Japan for a year, and then like it would kind of always be like fresh. So like they legitimately had plans for a while to kind of like completely take over the world
Yeah.
domination.
I don't know. I just feel like that's because like you think about like the hardcore fans. If you could get someone who they're really passionate about to come over for a match or a pay-per-view, like the Forbidden Door kind of situation, you could get a lot of people going, maybe I'll give WWE a try because of the fact that this person I love in this promotion is going to be on the show for that pay-per-view.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's also a lot of completely understood. It's also a lot of politicking. We want to have this cross-promotional match so we make a lot of money, and I want my guy to win so they look stronger.
I think
That was definitely I mean you can't even it was absolutely at play in Forbidden Door. There were like Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay had the best match of the night with Orange Cassidy. It stole the show. I was super happy, but Will Ospreay was put with Orange Cassidy because Will Ospreay was going to win whatever match he was in, and and AEW was like, well, here we'll give you a guy who you can have a good match with. That, like, we don't care if he loses.
I love that. But by the way, I don't know if you saw Wednesday has been announced for Yuta versus Orange for the
I did see that.
Yeah, that looks good. That was very deep. I did see that.
I did see that. I was channeling my inner Batman.
So, speaking of which, okay, I think coming back to that, and this is my segue into it. I think that ever since Montreal Screwjob, it has just made the company so set on not working with anybody else, because thinking that they can't work with someone else to go, we're afraid we might lose our title or whatever. I think we talked
Yeah.
about this before.
Well, I mean that's a very Vince thing.
Exactly, and I think
Triple
that holds
H
them back.
Triple H is clearly, and who knows, maybe they'll continue to do this more in the future. I mean, Triple H let Shinsuke Nakamura go over to Japan and have a match on Pro Wrestling Noah a couple weeks ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a potential of and even under NXT, they when Triple H was in charge of NXT and NXT was just becoming a really big thing, he signed a one match for Jushin Thunder Liger to come over and do a match with Tyler Breeze. So I think it was a very Vince thing to not do that. And I think that Triple H is a little more open. I don't know that it would ever get to the point of having like a full pay-per-view like the Forbidden Door, but I wouldn't be surprised if every once in a while, like a special attraction maybe once or twice a year where WWE guys will go somewhere or somebody will come in.
And I feel as if the concept of that, like, I watched a video, I think it was like the top 10 Forbidden Doors for the Rumble, and the top one was like the only one I understood. Everyone else was just, and I think because, especially now with the internet, it's so much easier to say, oh, the people like this guy, let's put him in, let's get him on here. Not even like hire him, just be like, have him just appear on a thing. It's such a, like I said with Vince, it's such a contract oriented, like, either we buy you or we sign you on or you don't do anything with us in general. And I think
it's a businessman's
it's all
perspective.
Bret Hart's fault.
It's all Bret Hart's
in
fault.
Montreal. But speaking of Montreal,
it definitely didn't have anything else to do with Medusa showing up and throwing the championship in the trash either.
Also,
which is why the screw job happened.
Also, yeah, no, it's very much the WCW thing. But that's what I think. Like, I get it. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a kind of like the business.
It's a business aspect.
It's the business aspect. Well, I mean, like the business aspect back then of the fear of failing. But I think now WWE can't really fail too much. Like, they can't.
Probably not.
They're not going to shut down in the next year. If they go out, it's going to be over time, and they're not going to make any good changes, and then be like, slowly die out, which is very hard to even happen in general for them, but still something that could happen. But my point was to getting back to Montreal, Sammy versus Roman Reigns, which is what we were talking about originally.
Yes.
And then somehow we got onto Forbidden Door stuff.
So this was fantastic. It was aside from the weird ending, it was everything I wanted it to be. I found it. I forget who I texted. I forget if it was you or AJ.
Go on.
I found it very interesting, and shows you what they wanted to do with the crowd. That they had Roman Reigns come out first.
Yeah, you did text me.
I was like, immediately I was like, oh shit, Roman Reigns is coming out first. Like, they are really like hyping up the pop for Sammy. Because like if you think about it, like even back into
Friday night.
Friday night they were huge. What I was gonna say was the last time that a crowd was this. The last time that I could think of a championship match that was like this, where the crowd was like, fuck you to the champion, we want our hometown boy to win, is John Cena and CM Punk.
I was pointing to your CM
Punk.
Okay.
And even then, Punk came out first, and Cena came out second, because Cena was the champion. So I found it very interesting that they chose to have Roman come out first.
Yeah, it's very weird to be like, they planned that exactly. They're like, yeah, this is how it's gonna happen. Where it's just Sammy's gonna go to the Elimination Chamber because it's Montreal.
Yeah, so my guess is that they didn't know how it was going to end. They didn't know what they were going to do. And when they were able to book the chamber for Montreal, which would have been about, 4 months ago? My guess is that they then started back booking themselves and saying, how do we get to Sammy versus Reigns?
And I think, like I said earlier, I said the predictability of it, which isn't, like I said, it sounds bad, but it's not. The concept that Sammy is there to give them something before WrestleMania, because I think having Sammy beat Roman Reigns, which is like, I say like, oh, I would have loved for Sammy to win, but I think if he beat Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, the problem would have been that all of the hype would have been gone for I think it would take away from WrestleMania, and that's what they didn't want.
Yeah, they found themselves in a situation that they don't really find themselves in too often, where they have two very over challengers for Roman Reigns that are both, based on story and merit, are both worthy of beating Reigns, and so it's trying to pick who they're going to do. Dude, they got in the ring for this match, and it was like it had to have been like almost 10 minutes before they locked up.
Yeah. I remember looking over and seeing them still not fighting it. I'm like, oh, they're just standing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's because they did the intros, and then the crowd was doing the Olay chant, and Reigns was like, oh, ha ha ha, whatever. And I guess he like went like flicked his hand at the crowd or whatever to be like, oh, whatever, you guys. And so then that flipped the crowd, and they started chanting "Fuck you, Roman" at him. And so then he was like walking around like looking all smug and be like, "I'm your tribal chief," blah blah blah. And so like they really like milked that for all it was worth.
him.
Like they did. I think it was like Olay, then "Fuck you, Roman," then they went to cheering Sammy. It was, and that wasn't the only one. There were multiple times to that match when they were chanting "Fuck you, Roman," like very clear, very audible.
They were doing it. What match was it? They were doing
it before the show started. They were sitting at the panel like 5 minutes before the show started, and they were chanting "Fuck you, Roman."
But no, they were doing "Fuck you" to somebody else, and I couldn't. They did "Fuck you" to somebody else, and I remember because it was like,
I forget who it was.
Because Michael Cole said like, oh, and the audience is the universe is letting them hear it now.
Yeah.
It might have been Austin Theory. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Because he's like laughed at it. He's like, they're letting them hear it now, and I'm like, yeah, because they're saying "fuck you."
Yeah, and they did the, not to go backwards, but they did the na hey goodbye to every guy who got eliminated.
Did they do that in the women's?
I don't think they did.
I did remember that because I was like, what are they cheering? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Hey.
I liked the Roman, Sammy, and Sammy's wife thing, because of the story that's being told with them. Like normally when they have the wives at ringside or whatever, and they play into that, it's always like, oh, this is what I'm beating him up. Oh, this is the love I'm beating on him or whatever. Like it's very generic. Like, but because of the story that these guys specifically had, Roman was able to like go after her and say like, this is what you wanted. He chose this. He chose he was saying like, he's taking food from your table because he chose not to side with me. Like he had like a whole like, he was able to have like a logical reaning as to why he was yelling at the wife, as opposed to like, I'm just yelling at you.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of your husband. It was
yeah,
more like he did this to himself.
Yeah, he did this to himself. He fucked you and your family up. Like he could have rode with us and made millions type thing. So like it was cool because there was a reason for him to be yelling at the wife, which was cool.
Very good.
Crowd popped huge when Roman was yelling at her, and then Sammy like jumped out of the ring and hit Roman or something, tossed him back in the ring and went back and kissed her. And then got back in the ring, and the audience fucking ate that shit up.
I remember there was a part where I could mime him going, him talking to the crowd, yelling, "You're booing me, you're booing me," and he was getting mad. He's like, "How dare you boo me?" He's like just super upset.
Yeah,
but
no, it was the crowd fucking made this match so awesome. I mean,
do you think it would have been? And I just mean hypothetically. Do you think this match would have been better if he did win? Like,
yes.
Would you feel way better right now
yes.
if you were like, oh my God, Sammy's champ?
Oh my God, Sammy won, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they would go after that, but yeah, I think I would be
Well,
like, yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? A lot of people, um, I was looking online and some people were like, this was the night. We understand like there were plans for Roman Reigns to go to WrestleMania against Cody, but like this was the night, this was the opportunity, this was a shot to pull the trigger on a super over guy and have him become the champion and win in his hometown and get that like crowd reaction of him winning in his hometown. And like they didn't pull the trigger, and it's like you are never going to have that type of moment again with Sami Zayn. In fact, you're not only are you never going to have that moment again with Sami Zayn. I hate to keep going back and comparing it, but the last time you had something like this was CM Punk in Chicago when he was facing John Cena. The next closest one would be Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
Well, that's interesting that you said that because I thought of the negative aspects of doing that, which was the Undertaker streak. I feel like that was a thing where it was unexpected and don't know. It felt like it gave a bad kind of taste to everybody's mouth, like opposed to this being like, this is what we wanted. This would have got huge over. This would have been so big. And like, unfortunately, like for me, it's one of my biggest mistakes of me leaving, like stop watching wrestling is like the whole Undertaker thing. Like, I don't think I watched another Undertaker WrestleMania match after that because like it's granted it's a small thing, but it's like the complete opposite of what this could have been.
Yeah,
I mean,
just for your reference, I think the only thing that's worth the only Undertaker WrestleMania match that's really worth it after the Brock one is
Reigns,
the AJ Styles,
AJ Styles.
The Boneyard match.
Boneyard match,
fantastic. The Roman Reigns match was okay. It wasn't that great. It was okay. Bray Wyatt was I feel like both the Reigns and the Wyatt match are really only good for looking at specific highlights, not the whole match itself.
Yeah, that should be, but given you shouldn't really.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy could have won, and we could have gone to a triple threat at WrestleMania. I think the problem with that is that if they do, they want to go with Cody winning, which it really seems like it, right? So, like, if Cody wins it off of, even if Cody pins Reigns, if he wins it off of Sammy, I see the audience turning on Cody, which they don't want. Which would mean if Sammy won, the other option would be that Sammy wins and Reigns is angry, so he invokes a rematch clause, and you could build to a rematch on SmackDown like in 2 weeks, and then Reigns wins it back to fight Cody at Mania to lose it. That's another option. Not saying it's a great option, but it's another option that would have given you the Sami Zayn winning the championship.
I still think
moment.
I still think they should have did him just fighting for one of the titles instead of both of them.
Yeah. Well, that's where
undisputed
yeah.
thing
Some people were wondering if it would go to, if somehow we would get to like Sammy fighting for a title on night 1 and Cody fighting for the other title on night 2. So then you could have whatever.
But think about it, like he's been champion for so long. You just go bam, lose the one title one night, lose the other title the next night. Just take a good long break, and then when you come back, people are gonna be like, yeah, Roman Reigns is back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Like I said, this was the night.
This was the night to do it.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a Sammy. I hate to say it, but like I don't know. I feel like there's not a Sammy world title reign ever going to happen. This was like the opportunity. And so here's the thing, right? If this was any other pay-per-view and not the pay-per-view right before WrestleMania, would WWE have decided to pull the trigger? Like, was the only reason they didn't because they have this match with Cody and the WrestleMania is coming up, and like if this was like, I don't know, in like June, would they have pulled the trigger on?
I feel like that would have been such a good story to be like,
or like September, October, would they have pulled the trigger on Sammy winning?
Have so many years of this happening and go, Sami Zayn is the guy to stop Roman. I feel like that would have been such a big thing.
It was the perfect storyline. It was the perfect moment. It was the perfect place.
The storytelling for it is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they said it. Like if you go back, like Sammy started doing the like trying to get into the bloodline when he was initially like trying to like impress Roman and stuff like that. Stuff all started like 2 or 3 weeks after WrestleMania last year.
Mm-hmm.
So like this has been like almost the whole year, which again is another reason why I was like, it kind of sucks that like we know this is going to happen and he's not going to be the guy who wins the Rumble and then fights him at WrestleMania, because that is a way more compelling story than Cody is.
Now, if Cody didn't go to WWE and stayed at AEW, I'm sure they would have done this and still had, like, I think that would have been Sammy winning the Rumble and him fighting Roman.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my original pitch for it was Sammy wins the Rumble, and then he says he's like just going to lay down for Reigns or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at Elimination Chamber, when they're in Montreal, is when you have the Sammy hitting Reigns with the chair moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting. I'm curious on where they're going from here.
Yeah.
It would make me have to actually watch SmackDown.
Yeah, there was so here's the other thing. There's the very interesting thing is that a lot of people were wondering, or a lot of like analysts and podcasters were wondering if they would go with Sammy winning the championship, because they said leading up to the Royal Rumble and up until now, SmackDown has been doing like its highest numbers it has in like 6 or 7 years, because people are legitimately tuning into SmackDown to watch the Sammy bloodline stuff. So they were like, are the ratings like higher, and they're gonna like they're gonna go with Sammy because that story is drawing in the ratings, and so then you drag it out another 2 or 3 weeks, Reigns can win the title back, and you pop a big rating on SmackDown for the title match, and then he can go on to Cody. Obviously that didn't happen.
See, I watch SmackDown to see the Progressive presents the match flow. And then I turn it off, and then that's the only thing I watch it for. But other than that, I'm glad that they're getting big numbers.
Did
Go on.
what'd you think of the Usos?
I don't know. That whole thing was very weird. I guess it makes sense because you don't want to have, is it Jay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want Jay to be just set in his ways and be like, well, I'm on Sammy's side now. He's very much still conflicted, which is good for the story. I feel like this is a bad time to do it though, because they're already fighting. So,
Dude, I loved that they teased it by resetting the stage.
Yeah,
that was
for the
there
chair.
for Rumble. Like,
yeah,
Sammy's in the same spot that Kevin Owens was. Reigns gives him the chair, turns around, and Jay's like looking, and you could like the audience started like cheering, and like there was a brief moment where you're like, holy shit, he could totally pull Sammy. He's gonna hit Reigns. I didn't think he was going to, but like I felt like it was really good storytelling, that it wasn't just him arguing in the ring. Like they literally put them back into the same positions, just with Jay in the chair, and like gave the like false swerve of like he could hit Reigns right now,
and then did the same thing where he just pushed him.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Like him pushing him, being like, "What are you doing? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like we're family." It was the exact same things that he was saying to Zayn. I thought that was like really good storytelling within the whole thing. The only thing that like really seemed just ultimately weird to me was like Reigns sidestepped and Sammy speared Jay instead, which then I guess is how it's going to get to Jay turning on Sammy and being like,
because you think
like I don't know, he's just going to be mad that he speared him. Like,
you think they're still going to do the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I figured. I was like,
especially after tonight.
I thought of you
Or
because
last
I was
night.
like, oh, they might do the thing that Kibbles was saying where they fight for the tag titles.
Yeah, especially with Kevin Owens coming down and attacking Jimmy
Yeah, I thought
after
Cody
the match.
Rhodes would come out too, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Because like he knows that Sammy's out now, so he's going to be fighting at WrestleMania regardless. He should have came out and at least helped out Sammy and then started that stuff up. But
Yeah, it especially because of Kevin Owens coming out and all that. I
yeah.
I assume that we're gonna get the Usos and Owens and Zayn. Yeah, no, it's and they did try to send the fans home cheering, or they tried to end with like cheers and stuff
Yeah.
at the end of the show by having Zayn hit the haluva kick on Reigns after everything was all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, it was still.
I mean, they were trying to get the audience back into anything, so it wasn't like we're gonna go off the air. We're gonna go off the air with fucking dead silence because the crowd, as soon as Reigns like covered for the 3, the crowd was like, ugh.
We
They were
didn't.
done.
We did disappoint you, but hey, here's Kevin Owens beating the shit out of people, and then I do love the concept of him in the middle of the two of them, and then him going okay, and then backs up.
Yeah, he
Go
backed
ahead.
up. That was cool.
That was good though.
That was good. Fucking awesome match.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to ask you, because you said you watched it without sound. So I was like, well, I wonder how he feels about the match, because like there's always that there's like that big thing everybody always talks about, right? Like they're like, oh, the reason why people remember Hulk versus Rock is because of the crowd. The crowd was super fucking hot, super into it the whole time.
Yeah.
But like a lot of, and I mean, like I've heard this numerous times, like, wrestlers, different people, they're like, yeah, if you try to watch that match back with no volume, it's terrible. What makes the match is the audience. Not that I thought that Reigns versus Sammy was terrible, but like, I'm like, this is a fucking amazing match. I love it. And would you be like, it's okay?
I feel like it was okay, but I think that also speaks to the way I feel about the climate with WWE. For me, I feel like the concept of it felt tense watching it, but at the same time, I was like I felt that kind of I couldn't hear the people, but I could feel that everyone was just on their feet the whole time because of the situation.
Yeah, I did something for this match that is sometimes very hard to do. And I think maybe I was able to do it because I was watching it by myself, so I wasn't trying to like talk to other people too while it was happening. When the match started, I was like, okay, I'm not texting anybody during this match. I'm gonna watch. I turned the volume up, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this match, and I'm going to fully let myself become fully
Taking it
immersed
all
in
in.
it. Yeah, like I was
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to become a mark. Like I'm going to just let myself become a mark. I'm gonna believe all of it is real. I'm gonna go on the ride that they're gonna send me on. Like I literally was like in my chair at times. Sammy like hit a haluva kick and covered, and I legitimately like sat forward and was like 1, 2, damn it! Like I like just rode the ride and just went with it.
I think that was the thing too, where like I am very cynical towards them, and I've said it before. Like it's not whatever. I'm still gonna keep on watching them regardless. But the cynical part, and then also the fact that if Sammy would have won, I would have popped. Like I would have flipped the fuck out if he did win. But I kind of felt that concept of like, why am I hoping for something that's probably not going to happen? Which is negative, I know, but like I don't see them doing it that way.
Right. And that's where I say like I let myself like become a mark for the match when it happened, because I going into it like I could have very logically told you, and I was saying it the whole time. Every time I talked about it, I was like, it'd be really cool if Sammy won. He's not going to. I really don't think he's going to.
I just don't see WWE. And again, I'm not trying to be negative, but I don't see WWE doing what the fans want.
Yeah, and it and so I let myself become a mark, and so like as the match was happening, I let myself believe that Sammy could win.
Which and I felt that tenseness not having sound, but I still felt like I was staying optimistic, but at the same time, I'm like, well, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be like I'm not a huge fan of Sammy. I like the storyline, but if he lost, I'm like, oh yeah, all right, whatever. They're gonna move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my things is like it felt very. The end of the match was it could have been better booked.
bittersweet.
It was bittersweet, but it could have been better booked. Like it was weird that he speared Jay, and that's how we're gonna get to like
Yeah.
that tag match. Just seemed weird to me. Like it would have made more sense if Jay had turned on him or something, or I don't know. Like that just felt weird.
It was almost like I was saying earlier. It's almost like them going, well, we want Sammy to turn on the bloodline. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, and then like he gets one of them on on the side. All right, yeah, and then he wins the title. And they're like, oh, hold on now, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
easy now. We're not.
and again, I maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's because of WrestleMania and the spot that they're in. If this had happened and WrestleMania wasn't coming up next, like I feel like Sammy would have had a legitimate shot at winning.
Yeah.
Like if this match was happening and it was like May or June, I legitimately would be like, Sammy's got a good shot of winning.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Elimination Chamber. Do you have anything else to say? I'm sorry. You anything? I mean, I think we covered it pretty good.
No, I think we did cover
It's
pretty
been
good.
a whole hour.
Yeah. Good
You were
pay-per-view,
right.
fucking great match.
So, I had a question for you because I thought about this mid podcast.
Mid?
Are you excited for? Do you see all this stuff on Friday, or only some stuff on Rampage?
You mean like in terms of match announcements, or you mean in terms of
In
what?
in terms of teases?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
What they tease?
Oh, well, they did a trios match with AR Fox.
I saw the ending of that.
Yes. Well, I was like, I feel like Kibbles would really like this end part, or who they're gonna go for next, or who they're gonna fight next.
Yeah.
Because
You're
I was
right.
like,
I forgot about this.
I was like, oh, that's awesome. I said, I feel like, because I thought of you right away. I was like, oh, that's gonna be a team, two teams that I think Kibbles would love to see fight, the House of Black versus the Elite.
Yeah. They'll
That's
probably
gonna be
do that
good.
at Revolution.
That's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, they were. So they're doing the Guns versus the Acclaimed versus two other teams that are going to compete at Revolution, and I'm
Yep.
like, what?
I feel like
What?
the only reason they're doing this is because now it's becoming tradition that they do a multi. So like if you go back and you look at Revolution last year, they did, I think Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were the tag champs, and they defended against, or maybe they weren't the tag champs, but they defended against. They were, because the other two teams were Undisputed Era and the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the same thing. They did, we're going to do a normal battle royal, and the team that wins gets into the match. And then we're going to do a casino battle royal, and the winning team also gets into the match.
Mm-hmm.
So now I feel like, are we just going to do that every year at Revolution for the tag titles? Because that's what it seems like.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think that's why they're doing it. Is it's becoming like quote unquote tradition to do that.
I would love to go over the match card maybe next week.
I think
you.
I think next week's perfect, because then the pay-per-view's the week after.
Yeah, because I'm very interested to see how they're gonna do things. Because we already know it's MJF versus Daniel Bryan, but then like the other stuff they're doing, like are they gonna do like little things, like are they gonna do Keith Lee versus Swerve?
Yeah.
Are they gonna do?
They announced Hangman and Moxley in a Texas Death Match, aka their version of Last Man Standing.
Oh, yeah, right. What do you have to do? You have to like pin them first and then.
No, just count of 10.
Really?
Yep.
That's weird. Well, yeah, that's we'll go over the match card next week, so you guys can be excited for that. I legit, when you pointed to me, I thought you were gonna spill your tea on the floor.
Oh,
because
no,
of the
I
way
knew
you
what I
had
was
it
doing.
angled.
I knew there was only a little bit in there.
But it was just the way you had it. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
and pointing to me.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so I think that's it. I think we went over Elimination Chamber. What would you give it?
Out of
Let's do out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah. Let me.
Like a 7.
That's weird. I was gonna say 7 too.
It's a
Okay,
7. It
cool.
was good.
Cool. I thought it was gonna be lower than you, but 7. Yeah.
I'll be honest, 7. Although I'll be honest, I think if Sammy had won, it would have been an 8. I think I
it
would have
been
ranked
a 9 if it was.
I think I would have ranked it higher if Sammy won.
Yeah, but I thought I was gonna be way lower than you.
Oh no!
As far as
this was a really, I mean, to be honest, aside from like the Lesnar Lashley match, like I really liked everything else that happened on this card.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I didn't mind it too much. I thought I'd be like, whatever, just find out who won. And I mean, that's what I did for most part when I got in, because I forgot it was on, and at like 9 o'clock I put it on. I was like, oh right, this is happening, and I was like, who won the other matches? Okay, and move on.
Women's Chamber is good,
but I mean,
you could go back and watch it.
It got me to want to watch. Like I solely wanted to watch this Sammy versus Reigns match. So.
Oh yeah, this was for me. This was a 1-match card.
But I'm saying, after all I say, for me, I wanted to watch that match, and it was like, yeah, all right, I'll turn it on because I want to see who wins that.
Yeah,
I
was
had
like,
hope.
I'll watch the other matches, and they turned out to be really good. But I didn't give a shit. I cared about Sammy and Roman.
I had so much hope for that one, and I had the idea of thinking that, like, kind of like FOMO, where if I didn't watch it and you just texted me, oh my God, Sammy's the champion, I would have been like, oh, I missed it. I forgot it was on. Like that kind of concept.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, let's cut this off before we give Darren any more to edit.
Yep.
Not that he edits that much of it. He just kind of listens to it while he plays video games. He's probably playing something right now.
Yep. Do the needful.
Yes, do the needful. Thank you. Bye.
For course correct to force them.
You
to
know what
boo
we
him.
have now? We have a revert. We have like the reverse version of John Cena.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard not to do what the fans want, and it's gonna end up hurting him.
Yeah.
I think, like, in the long run, it's gonna hurt him